So you know who you call on when you're talking about childhood obesity? You get a registered dietitian, a nutrition coach, and that's what we've got in Crystal Higgins. So what can we do, Crystal, with kids just to keep them healthy and active? Obviously, there's the normal stuff about just getting exercise, getting outside, but got to give them that nudge, I suppose.
Absolutely, and I think it really comes down to the parents. I think the best thing parents can do is lead by example and be a healthy role model for their children and engage them in healthy eating, engage them in activity, and do it together as a family.
And what, in general, should we be looking for kids for getting into shape, being healthy in terms of the amount of time they're outside, about what they're eating, when they're eating, those types of things?
Absolutely. And screen time, I think, is essential because there's a lot of kids that spend a lot of time on their iPads, iPods, game consoles, and we really need to get kids playing again, playing outside, engaging them in team sports, and even getting together as a family and doing a family bike ride or going out for a walk after dinner instead of just watching TV. So that's the activity side. The nutrition side, I mean, there's so much that can be done there as well.
But it can be tricky. You know, we look in supermarkets and there's a lot of not great stuff on the shelf. There's parents who are very pressed for time and seeking ways to actually get something good and healthy into their kids' mouths, right?
Yes, definitely. So I think the best strategy is not going to the grocery store when you're hungry and going with a bit of a plan, taking inventory of what's in your fridge and really only stocking the healthy food. Because if you stock your fridge with pop and essentially crap, processed food that's not very good for you, that's what your family is going to eat. Whereas if you stock it with fruits and vegetables and lean proteins and have it in a form that's convenient, so it's like a grab and go instead of a process. I think that's a huge barrier for a lot of families when it comes to fruits and vegetables is the preparation time. So if we can really break down that barrier and make the fruits and vegetables the more convenient choice, I think we'll see a lot less problems.
In preparation time, when we think about that, what are things that might work for kids that you could prepare in advance, that you could put in the freezer, that you could have out there for future days?
Yeah, and there's quite a few unique things that are on the market now. For example, making kale chips, super easy and delicious and very, very healthy. Things like roasted chickpeas. I mean, that wasn't around when I was a kid, and we're seeing chickpeas and all these sorts of flavors that are just absolutely delicious. So those kind of snack foods, and even thinking about the way that we present our vegetables, you know, making little designs with them, having different dips with them, making them more interesting for kids.
And when you're looking at ingredients and all the nutrition information, what are the things that scare you on packages?
High fructose corn syrup for sure is right up there. Anything that has a hydrogenated fat is sort of code word for trans fats. You want to eliminate those. And any ingredient list where you can't pronounce the food that's in there, you know, you have to think to yourself, am I eating real food or am I having a food-like product? And at the end of the day, I think that should be your deciding factor, and just keeping it as fresh as possible. I do have to add a quick note about sugar-sweetened beverages, because I think that's a huge problem for a lot of overweight youth and children, is watching the juices and the pops, because that's really where we're getting a lot of extra calories in there.
Okay. Crystal, thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me.